Hello and welcome to this video. It's actually the first video on this channel, and to start with I wanted to start with the basics, which was how to set up an art space. And my intention behind this is to show that we don't need to have the perfect art studio, and I wanted to share this specifically because I'm thinking about all the times I heard people telling me, I wish I could make art. I wish I could carve out some time, but I don't have space in my home. And I don't have space. I don't have an art studio. I don't have a proper room or a big space. You know, I would love to have a large space. And I get it, like me too. And I used to, like, at some points, I did have some bigger space. And it didn't really help me to work more than now that I'm in a smaller space. And I'm currently traveling, so this is not my so that's not my definite space. And also, like, by showing that, I want to show you that it's possible. Like, you don't need to, you can also be on the go, and you don't need to postpone to a later time when you have the perfect setup, the perfect art studio, the perfect atelier, all the time in your hands to make it perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you have the big space, the room, and the time, that's great, more power to you. But really, I don't believe you need to have all of that. So what I'm gonna show in the video is really how I'm setting up space on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, even, it depends, but how I clear the energy and how I use the things that I gather on my table, on my space, that I find useful and that will help me to tap in my creative energy. And by the way, you will see in the rest of the video, I'm wearing a very light shirt as compared to now, but when I recorded it, it was a few days ago and the weather was really warm, and suddenly we're back in winter for some reason. It's freezing cold, so yeah. It's still me, the same person. Another thing that I know I used to struggle with in the past, and I know many people have this issue, is the notion of creative block, starting on a blank page. When you start a new art project, or even you're working on the same art project, but still it's a new day, new morning, or new afternoon, whatever, and you may feel some resistance to start. You may put a lot of pressure on yourself, thinking that, oh, you have to do something perfect, and all the perfectionists out there, I think you will understand what I mean. Is that when we put some pressure on ourselves to perform right away, to create right away, to make a beautiful work of art right away, but this actually is really constrictive. It doesn't help the creative energy to flow. And what I found is, when I do this setup, I do it as a ritual, and it helps to release the pressure that I naturally put on myself. It helps to release the pressure, and it helps to kind of already get in the flow of things, but without knowing. It's like, it's a bit tricky. I'm not actually making art. I'm tidying, and I'm putting things in order, so that in a part kind of calms me down. Tidying and organizing is a great way to calm down, to calm our nerves, and at the same time it slowly puts me in the mood, or in the creative mood. So it's kind of a creative warm-up, really. And also I like to see it as a ritual. It's something I repeat. The same way, when you get ready for your day, you probably have a shower, maybe you put some makeup on, or choose the clothes you like for the day, and it could be done as a playful ritual, something that we do to take care of ourselves. Or maybe it's in the morning when you get up, and before you get ready for the day, or at night before winding down to bed. It's all of these acts that you do to take care of yourself. It's a kind of a routine, a ritual you have with yourself. And setting up my art space, I also see it as a ritual. It's a creative ritual, but it's also a spiritual ritual, because well, you will see, I will share more about this, but it's I see it as a way to invoke my creative spirit, my creative energy. I love to see it this way because when I frame it like that, I release the pressure. I feel like I don't have so much weight on my shoulders to produce a beautiful masterpiece right away. That's the point, right? To actually go and make art. And of course, the more we do, the more we go, the results will come, will follow along. But that's actually not really our problem. So come along with me and let's start. So this is before I began to clear my space. As you can see, Twinkle, my cat, is already here, ready to organize things. So I start by opening the window to let some fresh air in, and it's time to put things away. Sometimes I do many things at the same time and have everything ending up on my table, my desk, the computer, the sketchbook, the camera, the light, the cat, and everything. So first things first, I put things away. My computer is here because I'm playing some music as I'm cleaning the space. I like to use some, it depends. Sometimes I'm listening to joyful music or energizing music, but that day I was listening to some solfeggio frequency, something that helps my concentration and relaxation at the same time. Because I like this time to be me with myself, or me with my inner world. And sometimes I found that like music is great, but sometimes it keeps me away from my thoughts and from myself. And since this is a meditative practice, in a way, or mindful, this is a mindful practice, I like to use less invasive music and music that will induce my intuition, that will allow me to be closer to my inner world. As you can see, my desk is basically a plank of wood, which I placed on top of boxes, like sturdy plastic boxes, where I store all of my art material, and it's really convenient because I can carry them whenever I move to a new place. I can just put everything inside and put them in the car, and that's it, and then place them in my new place. And they're easy to clean, and the front is transparent, so it's easy for me to see what's inside. Like, it's so convenient to have things easily accessible. I'm trying to minimize the amount of steps and the amount of thinking I need to do before I start my art practice. I found that this was the way for me to be consistent and, to remove as much friction as possible. So this was a kind of a new space, and I hadn't had time to really organize it and set it up. So what I'm gonna do now is put my art manifesto that I made a while ago, which is something to remind me of why I'm doing the art I'm doing, or why I'm doing this, why I'm showing up, why it's important for me to make art, why it's important for me to create. So I like to paste it on the wall. As you can see, the wall is a little bit resistant, but I managed to do it. Yeah. I used to be very perfectionist and love everything to be neatly placed on the wall, but now that I'm on the go, traveling a lot, I no longer care. I use that time to dust and clean everything that's on the desk. So this is an art that I carry with me. I've had it for 22 years. It's actually something I made when I was in art school, in textile school. It's a weaving. So this is a reminder to my first love, weaving threads, textiles. This one is a painting on silk that my grandmother made for me. Although she's no longer here, I have this with me, and it reminds me of her joyful, creative spirit. And it's very enriching for me to have it around with me. It keeps me, it keeps me feeling safe and protected. And these are some textiles that I brought back from China. They are embroideries made, handmade by the Miao people, an ethnic minority living in the south of China. I dust my sketchbooks. It's insane how crazy these things get dusty, especially here. I'm living close to the beach, so I get all the sand coming through all the time. I believe that the same way that we do our self-care every day, we clean ourselves. It's important to clean our desk and our art space on a regular basis, so that, especially, I like to do it before I start, so that when I start I feel it's fresh and new and clean. It's clearing the energy from the day before. Because I like this time to be me with myself, or me with my inner world. And sometimes I found that like music is great, but sometimes it keeps me away from my thoughts and from myself. And since this is a meditative practice, in a way, or mindful, this is a mindful practice, I like to use less invasive music, and music that will induce my intuition, that will allow me to be closer to my inner world. And now that I finished to clean and dust the space, I'm going to light up some incense. I love incense to clear the air as well as fresh air. I like the combination of both, it's even better. I feel like incense is making the space already more sacred, more special, and it's kind of activating my energy. Here I have this little fish that I carry around everywhere as well. It's a symbol of abundance and luck, and that's how I envision my creative practice: abundant with ideas, with beauty, with inspiration. This stone I also collected on a lake, and I love to carry it with me, and I love to stroke it from time to time and feel its texture on my hand. And this is a gourd that I found on a walk here in the countryside, and I thought it's so funny. I like to keep it with me. It has a pretty texture, pretty colors. And here are more seashells that I love to keep with me for inspiration. I think it's because I feel the spirit of the seas with me. Also keep a few of my previous artworks around to inspire me, to beautify my space. I used to do more textile work in the past, so here are some pieces. And here is the rest of the room, and I have a bookcase behind my back, because initially there was nothing and I didn't like to have my back to the door. It's bad feng shui and it doesn't feel really, it feels a bit stressful, so I have a bookcase with my books. Here, luckily, there's a little cupboards where I can put my sketchbooks, art. Here is the art that I'm currently working on. I put them on sleeves so that they will be protected. And you can see at the back there is a little picture. It's a photo of me when I was a child, and I love to keep it there. I feel like my inner child is keeping an eye on my art, and also it's a reminder. Every time I open drawer, it's a reminder of why I'm doing this, and it's a reminder that art is, you know, the love of my life, like one of the loves of my life. I remember that when I make art, I satisfy my inner child's cravings. On my bookcase, I have I didn't carry so many books with me, since, as mentioned, I'm traveling, but I have the necessary, a few spiritual and personal development books, and a few art and nature books. My work is very much inspired by nature, so I like to keep some of those books around with me. And special mention to Confetti, my rescue dog, who is also my second assistant. taking out my papers. These are some blotting paper that I put under my actually painting space. But I love all the marks that stay, and I love to keep them and reuse them, so it creates more marks. It's like layers. I think one day I will do something with it. I will create something with it, but for now they are more like blotting paper. And now time to take the tools out. So this water is water from the sea actually, since I live right next to the sea. It's the Mediterranean Sea, so it's sea salt water. I love it because then my art is infused by the spirit of water. I have the seashells on my desk to also diffuse this sea energy and water. So these are some seashells that I carry, that I bring with me. I love to collect them on the beach, everywhere I go in the world. And I keep them on a little ceramic dish that I find cute and inspiring. Makes me feel home. Then I also have some salt in a little jar because I love to use salt in my watercolors to create some interesting results, interesting effects. I love keeping my brushes in that holder, this kind of wrap, because then I can travel with that very easily. I don't need to worry about having the right jars or storage. I just put them all in that roll and away we go. And off we go. These are a few pens that I like to use. And another sketchbook. Okay, so I'm preparing my colors. I'm using watercolors, mainly watercolors, pens. So the desk is not big, so I'm trying to find a way to have everything fit in a way that it allows me space to work, but also it's convenient. For me, everything has to be convenient and practical if I want to eliminate resistance to do anything, to doing anything. So that's how it goes. So yeah, that's my desk now, filled with my supplies and gated, and I'm ready to start. I love it because it makes me feel like it's my home, it's my space, it's my precious space. It's filled with objects and things that reminds me of joyful memories, or things that have a symbol that it is nurturing, joyful, inspiring, encouraging. So I feel like I'm really set up for creating with ease and grace now. And before I start making art, there's something else I like to do. I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I've done this practice earlier on, but sometimes I like to do it right before drawing or painting. And this is a meditation that I recorded myself. I use this with my clients, and I use this on myself first and foremost. So I listen to this meditation at my desk, and after that a good stretch, and then I can start my art practice. And I start with actually drawing and painting what I saw in my visualization. So as you can see, it's really all about clearing the air, making the space yours, cleaning the energy, inviting in some positive, joyful energy to set up the space in a way that feels nurturing and loving. So all that, like I'm placing around a few things that are full of meaning for you, specifically for you, so that when it's time to actually make art, you feel really supported. And that's how I do it, and it has made a huge difference. I don't have anymore this fear of the blank page. Now I'm every time I start on my sketchbook, or on my actual, not only my sketchbook but a new drawing. So now every time I'm working on a new piece, I feel supported. I feel this energy. I feel it's easier to flow. My creative energy is ready to go. I create with more ease, and I actually enjoy. I feel like this is a sacred moment for me, for my inner world, for my inner child, as I showed you as I mentioned earlier. And when you think about it, our inner child is kind of a creative spirit, because when we are children, we're all so creative in our approach to life, right? So I feel like this is a great way to awaken the spirit within, and to treat the spirit, to really give it what he wants, what it needs, what it craves. And this getting ready ritual, you can do it anywhere, even if you don't have all of the stuff on your desk like today I was showing. The rest of the practice can be done anywhere you are making art. And I know I can carry these things, like I've streamlined to the minimum, to really what is needed for me to make art that I enjoy and I'm satisfied with. And I know I can carry it with me when I'm traveling or when I'm moving in a new place. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it inspired you. I'd love to know in the comments, what did you find inspiring? Are you gonna try? Maybe you already have your own ritual. What do you do? What makes it special to you? And see you next time. Bye bye.